Live from Chevy Chase.
Welcome back. This month is Stalking Awareness Month, and it's a powerful reminder of just how common and how serious stalking really is. Did you know that 1 in 3 women and 1 in 6 men will experience stalking at some point in their lifetimes? And yet so many victims suffer in silence, unsure of where to turn or how to get help. That's why we're so grateful to be joined today by Diane Fleet from Greenhouse 17. It's a local organization dedicated to stopping intimate partner abuse and supporting survivors. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah, so this is important that we highlight stalking awareness in the month of January.
Right.
And you have a very personal connection to this. Tell us about your history.
I do. You know, so it was a long time ago. So I was dated somebody through high school a little bit and then college. And after kind of a little bit in college, and I was leaving and I was trying to break up with that person. Nothing terrible. It was just time to kind of move on. I had a terrible experience with stalking for about 2 years of following me, calling me at work, waiting for me outside of my door, like everywhere. And I think, you know, one of the biggest messages that I want to give is I really try to manage that myself. You know, I didn't want to bother anybody. I was worried that if I kind of opened up the door that he would bother my friends and family and coworkers. So I really tried to negotiate it. And I think one of the things that I learned is the quicker that I could rely on friends and family to help me through it, the quicker and safer I was able to leave that relationship. Yeah.
And sometimes the relationships end badly.
They do.
And so how, and you don't know sometimes how to discern what is stalking versus just what is bad communication.
Right.
Do you have any advice where that's concerned, some warning signs?
You know, one of the things I really do hope people hear is to trust your gut. I think women in particular don't always trust their gut, and they often kind of make excuses for behavior. I feel really bad. I'm sorry that I broke up with this person. I know all these things. And we let it go a little too long. But I think when it starts disrupting your life, when that person is no longer honoring, like you might have somebody that doesn't deal well with it for a day or two or a week or so, but when it continues on, again, mine had continued on for 2 years, that's a big sign. You know, that's not a healthy situation. And I really did need sort of support with it. So trust your gut and be aware that what you're experiencing doesn't seem like the traditional breakup, but this is going on too long. And I think then start reaching out to programs like mine to kind of go, something doesn't feel right. Can you kind of walk me through this a little bit just to see if what I'm sensing might be true and this might really look like stalking, and then we can start preparing some plans. Yeah.
Does stalking always lead to like horrible outcomes that we hear about in the news sometimes?
You know, it definitely can. So we often look at indicators of what a traditional, I work mostly with domestic violence cases, intimate partner violence cases, and when we see certain behaviors, that kind of elevates us that this could be a higher risk case. Stalking definitely partners, I think, with those cases that we think could be higher risk. There's other things such as strangulation. Is the relationship ending? That is when a person starts to lose control, and then we kind of go, we need to really wrap around safety. And I think, again, trusting people to go, this doesn't seem right and I'm afraid, more afraid than I've normally been, that would indicate to us too. But stalking often does go hand in hand with a higher risk level.
So if someone is feeling like they might potentially be a victim or they're fearful, what is the first step you should have them,
you know, I think with domestic violence and with stalking, the more light you can shine on it, the better. I think abusers and perpetrators and stalkers are able to do so well because it often stays hidden. I think there's a lot of shame around it, so victims often hide the situation. So if you can safely start sharing it with a trusted person who you believe will be confidential about your experiences, reach out to Greenhouse 17. We have 24/7 crisis line folks that can kind of talk through things. And I think just doing a little homework. There's an amazing 2 women that are here in Lexington have started a program called Outrage Us, and there's lots of information about stalking on that. And there's also a stalking awareness event that's happening this Friday at the downtown library that was initiated by a survivor of domestic violence and stalking. So there's a community out there for folks, and we would love to support anybody that's either a friend that's like, I'm worried about my friend, or myself, something doesn't seem correct and it's not coincidental anymore.
Well, it's so important to highlight this subject and to talk about it, bring it to light, as you say. And as you said, there's lots of resources out there, especially Greenhouse 17. We appreciate the work that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diane.
It's
Thank you so
tireless
much.
work, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we're going to have all of the information for Greenhouse 17 up on the screen.
right after the break.
Live from Chevy Chase.
After the break, we'll meet a local jewelry maker who makes handcrafted pieces designed to reflect who you are and what your calling is in life.
But first, let's check in on that question of the day. And to recap, the question is, do you hit the snooze on the alarm clock in the morning? Yes or no? What about you? Do you hit the snooze?
I heard this question and I was embarrassed how fortunate I am. I don't even have to set an alarm. I have worked out my life that I just naturally sort of wake up.
Oh, wow.
So no, I don't. Unless I'm catching a plane in Cincinnati at 5 a.m. to get that cheap airfare.
Yes.
I do not set a snooze, but I don't even set an alarm.
Well, good for you.
Well, I love it.
Yeah.
It looks like our audience is not really hitting the snooze either.
I like it.
53% say no, they're not.
Yep. There's still time to vote. Head over to Facebook or Instagram, live from Chevy Chase.
You're watching Live from Chevy Chase.